What if I told you there was 109 trillion Shiba Inu standing in the way of us reaching a new all-time high? That might sound like a lot. It might sound like an impossible feat, but really what this is this is where we are facing significant resistance in terms of Shiba Inu. So this 109 trillion Shiba Inu sell wall is basically sitting at 4027. This isn't an actual sell wall of that much SHIB, but that is where 149,000 addresses are holding 109 trillion Shiba Inu. So this is where major accumulation took place. And a lot of this had to do with obviously that big surge that we had back in March. All right. People buying in this level, people buying during times of consolidation. That's when I did a lot of heavy accumulating as well. I bought most of mine down here, of course, but what we're seeing right now, what we're trying to fight through is some of this heavy resistance. And I want people to understand that right now, there's not really anything holding Shiba Inu back per se. Yes, we're fighting some of these resistance walls, but people have a misunderstanding of what happens in the crypto market, what makes these things actually pump and pop and explode like we experienced back here. Yes, it's obviously buys and sells, right? That's obviously duh. But what brings this in is retail adoption, new users, new capital flowing into the space. That's what gets things going. And that's what caused Shiba Inu to break out at such an accelerated rate. You had an extreme acceleration in terms of holders and in terms of new capital, and culminate that with, or combine that with the removal of Shiba Inu from supply, people having a long-term mindset in terms of SHIB, you basically had a huge supply squeeze or a supply shock in a very short period of time. Okay. So now we're sitting at some of these higher levels. There are resistance levels above us, but what I want to show people is maybe when Shiba Inu will go on this next run. And what I want to show you is this, we'll call it the retail adoption chart. Now, why I'm calling it that is this is the total market cap of crypto excluding BTC. So this is altcoins, basically Ethereum and down. And what this shows you is that basically since March, since March 14th, sorry guys, we have actually been kind of dropping in terms of the market cap of altcoins. And what this signifies is that we haven't seen that big acceleration in retail adoption yet. Okay. Yes, from basically late October through the beginning of March, we saw a big surge. That tends to happen. You know, the start of the bull market gets exciting and then it kind of cools off for a short period of time. And that's what we've been doing. We've been cooling. All right. So what we're waiting for right now is kind of what has happened from cycle to cycle to cycle. This moment where retail adoption really kicks off and accelerates and you just essentially go vertical. It's tons of new users, tons of new capital. And this is the time where Shiba Inu and many other alts are going to go on these massive explosive runs. Now, what I want to show you is in the last market cycle, this basically kicked off in July. Right? Start of July is when things started to get a little spicy. And really, it wasn't until like November when we basically went full vertical. That is when assets take big steps forward in this market, for those who aren't familiar. Yes, we had the COVID crash and the subsequent recovery from that, but that's not the start of, alt season. That's not the start of this retail flows. Now, again, alt season basically kicked off right here. The start of alt season is kind of slower and then it accelerates. Rewind back to 2016, and you can see this exact same thing playing out here, right? Early run in the year, nice start. Then it cooled basically from July all the way through December. You had this period where the retail money, the retail adoption wasn't growing. It was stagnant. Okay. And because of that, prices didn't really do a whole lot of moving. So right now you're not fighting against other coins gaining adoption. Yes, there is capital moving around the space, right? But what you're fighting against is not really much in terms of new users entering the space. Hopefully that makes sense. Yes, some things are climbing. BTC has been climbing. Ethereum gained some ground because of the possibility now of big institutional money flowing into the space, but that hasn't really kickstarted that retail adoption again. We've gotten into this period where things are just kind of quiet and there's not a whole lot going on. Hopefully I can get back up to where I was. So we're waiting basically for that kickoff moment. All right. And that kickoff moment typically happens in July. That's kind of when things start to get a little bit spicy again. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to moon us. I'm not saying SHIB is going to surge to a new all-time high right then. It's possible. All right. It's 100% possible. Not much in terms of available SHIB in the market. It's got huge optics throughout the world. It can move very quickly, but just know that that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for more users to enter the space. We're waiting for the clicks and the optics to turn into buys. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.